Call this meeting to order at 11:30. We have invocation and pledge.
Yes, sir. You ready, Roger?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just want to say good morning to trustee staff. Thank you guys for your flexibility to hold our brown bag session here in the portable. We have last day of early voting elections happening. I want to ask Mr. Roger Campos to please lead us in the invocation, and then we will do our Pledge of Allegiances right after.
Sir, wherever you can please stand. Lord, we pray that you will bless this meeting. Help us to have productive discussions that will broaden our perspective. Help us to take the various ideas presented and think of ways to flesh them out. Help us to resolve any disputes gracefully, be creative problem solvers, and have great team spirit. Help us to find principles that we all can agree on and put these into action. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone sign up for public comments? So do you have anything before we go into the agenda?
I do not, sir.
Okay. Is there food?
Oh, there's one, sir.
Are you going to feed us lunch?
Yes. This is a brown bag. We do have lunch. I forgot it to see it way over there. But yes.
Okay.
If we cannot get our lunch, sir? that'd be
Yes,
great.
and then we'll continue with the meeting. So we're ready. We'll begin with Cash Network and Cash update.
Yes, sir. We have 5 items we're going to bring to the board. The first item being a presentation on the status of our CASTM, our friends at CASTM Network. We have Ms. Jean Russell, Carol Mendenhall, who are joining us, and Ms. Rodriguez, who are joining us in from CASTM. We have our great principal, Ms. Reve Schaefer, and I see she brought one of the most dynamic students that we've ever had the privilege of knowing, Jocelyn, with her, who's going to present on Student Voice, I understand. So we're going to let them lead off with that. This is about a 20-minute presentation. And then our other presentations, until we get to the budget, are going to be within the 5 to 10-minute range area. And we plan to finish on time to respect the time of you, our trustees, and thank you for making the time to come here. And so this is a very informal setting, and so Ms. Russell or Reve, Ms. Schaefer, whoever wants to lead off. So we want to give everyone a status report of CAST Network and CASTM within CAST Network and what we're all working. It's a team effort, so it should be a team presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Verstedt, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reve Schaefer. I'm the very proud principal at CASTM High School. Mr. Vasquez, thank you so much for having us. Board, senior staff, we appreciate you. We're going to tell you a little bit about what's been happening at CASTM and in the CAST Network, give you an update, and we've got lots to celebrate. So we really appreciate your time and attention, and I want to kind of turn it over to Jocelyn to introduce herself.
So hello, my name is Jocelyn Maldonado. I'm a proud senior of the first graduating class of CASTM. I wanted to talk to y'all about what we do at CAST, why I chose CAST, and kind of my path that has taken me to senior year. So in 8th grade, we had a teacher who would talk about CAST and kind of just, you should apply, whatnot. I didn't want to apply because I just didn't want to at that time. Funny story, I was at a track meet throwing for shot put, and my parents went and signed me up for CAST. So I don't regret them signing me up for CAST because it's a wonderful school, and I'm very grateful to be here. My path has been a lot of ups and downs. I think that's just life, but I'm very, very honored to be representing CAST, and in the future, I actually, in May 20th of this month, in a couple of days, I will be walking the stage for Palo Alto. I will receive my level 1 certification in logistics and supply chain management. So I'm very proud of myself, proud of what took me to get here. It was hard, it's not easy. A lot of people, a lot of the younger kids, you know, I go talk to kids at McCullough because that is where I came from, and they don't know kind of what opportunities CAS gives you, and so many opportunities, internships, lots of fun stuff. They think CAS is just, oh, it's just a regular kind of college class, but it's way more than that. It's fun, and I'm excited. I know what I want to do in life. So after I get my level 1 certification, I will continue to get my associate's degree at Palo Alto College. After that, I do want to get my real estate license, and I will study that at SAC. After that, I'll even go to more school and get my bachelor's degree in business or logistics. Then after that, my career will be a real estate agent, but I also want to work in the logistics department at University Hospital. So my parents both work at UH, and I do want to work there. So that will be kind of my dual career. If y'all have any questions for me, please let me know. But that is what I do, what my role is at CAST, and what I'm looking forward to. So thank you.
Thank
Jocelyn,
you, Jocelyn.
very well done. And I just want you to know that you are why the 7 at this head table are here, okay? To see children like you become young adults like you did.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for getting up the courage to come up here and talking to us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Jocelyn is a leader on our campus. I'm going to have you come over here, sweetie. She's a leader. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to ask.
Of course.
Do you think we can do anything better to make CASTEM feel, or do you already feel like the other 2 high schools as far as involvement in activities or support, you know, from the community?
I do feel like we do get left out a little bit, just because we're a smaller school, and I feel like size shouldn't matter. But I know me and Dr. Versurf were talking the last time, and maybe if there was like a school-wide festival for all the high schools, and we come together and just, you know, build relationships between students. You know, I do have friends at Southwest and Legacy, but, you know, maybe meet some more friends, and y'all can have that in the future because, yes, I am graduating. But I do want to see more of a communication in Southwest Legacy and CASTEM. We do want to feel included a little more because, like I said, I do feel like we do get left out just a little bit. But yeah.
I'd like you, well, you can see my name right there, right? My number is on the website.
Okay.
I'd like, maybe we can talk and you can give me some ideas that
Yes,
we can
of course.
share and really try to up our game on that.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. So Jocelyn is an example of what happens at CASTEM. She's a shining example. She is a leader, but she's a humble leader. And she doesn't have to be in the spotlight. That's why I make her get in the spotlight, because her story is special. So we want to share with you some highlights around the network that supports us. Obviously, Southwest is a huge network that supports us every day, but the CAST network of schools also does. So we have a little story to tell you about that, and then we'll talk some more about CASTEM.
Thank you so much for inviting us here today, and thank you for asking Jocelyn that question, because that is sort of the core of what we believe, is to really listen to what the students are telling us they need. So I appreciate that very much. So my name is Jean Russell. Most of you know me, but it's been a while since we've presented to the board, but this was one of the first school district leaderships to really invest in the CAST schools, and so we're really grateful for that. I wanted to take you back to sort of why we started CAST, just to frame this conversation a little. So our city as a whole has been working very, very hard on educational attainment for probably the last 20 years. And we're so proud that the high school graduation in San Antonio has really shown up and is much stronger than it once was. But one of the areas we still find that we struggle with is college enrollment. So college enrollment and attainment in San Antonio has rested at about 47% consistently for about a decade. We haven't really seen any improvement. So when we were getting together with superintendents that included Dr. B, as well as business leaders in our city, we asked ourselves, What about the other 53%? We want to improve college going rates, but we also want to do as much as we possibly can for our students while we know we still have them in high school. So what would it look like to rethink high school to ensure that they get that next step while we still have them with us, and we kind of have a very warm transition into whatever they're doing after they leave high school. And so that was the concept behind CAST, to partner with public school districts and industry to both embed college into the high school, but also to give them this well-rounded exposure to the high-demand, high-growth jobs in our community, and try to transition them while we still could and expose them to some of those jobs. And we did that by partnering with all of our resources. We believe that everyone is invested in the success of young people, and bringing in higher education, bringing in industry, bringing in community partners, and of course public schools where the majority of our students are. So we are a small network of schools, and we are partnered with public school districts, with the idea being that we can create exemplars or models that you can then take the ideas that are working inside our small schools and scale them across your district. So we try to pilot new ideas and try new things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but when they do work, we want to share them broadly across our public school district partners. Our mission is to serve those students who we have inside our school building to maximize their options. We want students to know that it is their hopes and dreams, but we will do everything we possibly can to get them on that path. And we honor all of the choices, whether that's a traditional 4-year go away, go to school, or that's somebody who has a very clear idea of how they want to go into the workforce. How can we ensure that that's going to be a job that pays well and is going to have a career ladder to a middle-class job? So we see ourselves as San Antonio's #1 public school network, preparing students for both college and career simultaneously. We're not doing one or the other. We're trying to integrate the two so that, we've had students who we thought were going to college, and oops, they decided they were going to take a job, but fortunately they knew a coding language. They were able to get a job at a cybersecurity firm. That's the kind of outcome we want to prepare our students for. We're now about to be in our fourth school district, but that school is opening in August. That's Cass Teach in Northside. So we're very well spread around San Antonio, and that was the original vision, to have multiple access points for students across our city and to work with multiple school districts. We're proud that Southwest was the second school district to say they wanted to participate in this model. And we think we have kind of a nice geographic spread, as well as a kind of wide variety of what we consider to be the high demand, high growth jobs here in San Antonio. We're up to about 2,000 students across our network, so all of our schools are relatively small. Partly that's facilities, but it's also designed to be a small model. We're 44% female, so not quite 50-50, but close. 60% economically disadvantaged, which is a fairly good reflection of our community, and 84% Hispanic, also looks a lot like San Antonio. And people know us because of our focus on careers, and that is, I think, a really important way in which we're different. But we designed our schools around a different kind of student experience, one that starts by listening to students like Jocelyn. So we really try to meet students where they are. We believe that all students come to us with gifts, and our job is to unlock them and put them on that path. And part of that is listening and asking the kind of questions you asked about, what more can we do for you? And we want to give students a series of choices about whether it's their pathway or their projects that lead to more and more informed decision making along the way. Our schools are small and they're built around relationships. So that's the relationships with the people in the building or in the community, but also the adults who are coming in from industry and others to work alongside our students, mentors. We design everything around authentic learning. So we say we want students to have a chance to kick the tires of what they might want to do and see it and touch it so that they can better understand what they might want to do in the future. And then equity is a really important principle for us. We don't sift and sort or track our students. We try to give everyone access to the same opportunities. And we try to locate our schools and communities where we can potentially provide access points and also proximity to those industry clusters like Toyota is near here, et cetera. And our big priority going forward, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in a second, is we like to say we never say goodbye to our students. So that's exciting for Jocelyn or for the first graduating class. We want to continue to support our students after they leave us. So we've launched an alumni network, and we're trying to make sure that students know about internships for college students. We have a jobs board. If they have needs for book help or anything to continue on that path that they've said, we want to support them through our alumni network. And so our priorities going into the next year, which I really wanted to share with y'all since you are our public school partners, is we are thinking a lot about the potential educator shortage and how we can maybe pilot some new ideas at our small schools that then you all could take and use for your district. And then we're also thinking a lot about one of the things we've learned is that we are trying very hard to get students exposed to careers and connected to careers while they're with us, but we want to do even more to ensure that that job is secured while they're still in high school, that they understand, that we do more career advising, so they understand, oh, this company maybe has tuition reimbursement, so they'll pay for my college, or seeing the career ladder. So we're hoping to next year really focus on redesigning the senior year so that it's almost like a hybrid year of I'm partly in high school and I'm partly in my next step. And so we'd love to talk to you more about that in the future. So those are our priorities going forward. And so that's sort of where we are with CAST. I'm really appreciative of both your belief in our schools, but also your interest in hearing and getting this update about what we're doing, and would love to take any questions before I hand it over to Ms. Schaefer.
For industry partners, are we looking into, I know we have Toyota, but are we looking into Amazon? I know we have the cross-decking, and that's good for logistics. Then we have the warehouse.
Yes.
But then also being innovative, that's an innovative warehouse. So for logistics, is that something that
We
we're
have
looking into?
reached out to Amazon, not to join the advisory board, but for different opportunities for students. But we could also see if they'd be interested in doing some other things with the school. I'd be happy to do that, yeah.
And then there's like, when you say redesigning the senior year for like a hybrid, is it like going to be, I don't know, guess what Josh is doing right now is going to food bank to more being in the realms of the workforce?
Yes, but customized for the student, right? So like the goal would be that depending on where a student is in their journey, they could potentially, yes, start doing more of like an apprenticeship, or there might be a student like, let's take Josh as an example, who's very interested in going to a highly selective four-year school. Maybe they'd rather be doing something like research with a professor, but making that senior year really be a connection point to whatever it is they're doing once they leave us, so that they're really secure in whatever that next step is. But we're going to really engage. We're going to do a series of focus groups with the students to get their input to about like what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and we're hoping to do that in the next few weeks before they graduate. Yeah. Any other questions? Well, this board has been so supportive, and we're really grateful to all of you, so thank you very much. And I'm going to hand it to Ms. Schaefer.
So to give you a little closer to home, so at CASTEM, our mission really is to ensure students are ready for college, career, military, or some combination of those, whatever their dream is. We want to support the student in achieving that dream. And so I will have failed if my students don't have a plan for the very next step after they walk off the platform for graduation. I don't like to fail. Y'all know I like to win, and we're going to show you a couple ways that we've done that this year. But every student needs to have a plan. And if they aren't already walking into or through that plan, then we haven't done our job well. So that's what we dream for all of our students. We have under 300 students at CASTEM currently. 58% are economically disadvantaged, 37% are female, and 91% are Hispanic. You know, the most amazing students, so they are a gift every single day. Roger, I'm stick.
You got it.
So our senior class, our very first graduating class, has 88 seniors. We're very proud of each of them. And they are doing a myriad of things, but they also have shaped the school over the last 4 years. And Jocelyn and Josh are great examples of students who have lent their voice to the shape and redesign to make it what they want it to be. What Josh is experiencing right now in his internship is something he specifically asked for. He wanted an individual PBL experience. So we created that through his capstone, and now he's doing that as well as learning with the food bank. So that is truly about listening to what students wish to have. So 100% of our students have had at least one college course, so have earned about 3 hours of college credit, and they have continued. Many have 60, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. 100% of our students have been accepted to a higher ed institution, one of their choosing. 1 in 5 have had an internship while they've been at CASTEM, and 2 in 3 have earned or are earning an industry-based certification, which we're really, really proud of our students. They are making choices like earning an OSHA 30 certification, which is really intense and expensive, and our kids are doing it in high school. Some of them are also earning dual credit while they're earning their certification as well. We're really excited about this. I get a little emotional every time I see this, but about 50% of our senior class will cross the stage at Palo Alto College because they have earned their associates, which you can see 17 are positioned to earn their associate's degree, and about 27 will earn a level 1 certificate, which is about 6 college courses. So of our students going to their next step in their future, 76% are choosing a college or university as their next choice. But like I said, we want them to have their plan in place for that very next step, college, career, military. We do have some undecided, but we talk to them every week to figure out what's their passion and unlock that passion. We had a student who was undecided last week, and this week they're going to Texas A&M College Station, which makes me very happy. So most of our students who are going to college want to study a STEM major, but you can see there's a variety of other things they're interested in. We have very diverse students who have lots of interests, but the majority are choosing a STEM career for the future. And of the students who are entering the workforce, 75% of them know what they're going to pursue once they graduate. And you can see some examples here, things students are logistically going to do when they leave high school. So drone flying, welding, a family business. We've got lots of entrepreneurs in the senior class who are interested. Electricians, some want to go to work for Toyota. Some are on their way to earning that opportunity to work while also earning their associate's degree. Mechanics, and we have a CDL driver who knows that that is his calling, that is his passion, and that is his family business. So many of you have been a part of our PBL presentations. One of the things that we want our students to do is to solve real world problems, but also get real world feedback. So we always love it when our students are a little bit afraid of having Mr. Bernal in their room because he gives really good feedback, really good critique. And that's good for our kids because they can handle it. So our students do presentations of learning for public, for the industry, for community members. Anyone is invited to attend. And because of these experiences, our students have learned to speak to lots of different kinds of grown-ups. And Jocelyn's a really good example of that. Jocelyn talks about being kind of quiet when she started high school, and now she can speak to anyone at any time. We love that. We're very proud of our theater program. Mr. De Hoyos is in the lead with our program, and our students advanced all the way to area this year. That was extremely exciting for all of us, and next year they're looking to do the same and more. So we're very proud of them. Scapino was the production. The Technology Student Association is really big on our campus. So this is a group of students. About a third of the seniors are a part of the Technology Student Association, and they work with mentors. They compete in programs like robotics, extemporaneous speaking. They have lots of opportunity to compete in a variety of areas, engineering design, scientific design, and 26 of our students went to Fort Worth this year to compete at the state level and want to continue competing next year. Many of you are familiar with the electric car competition, the Electrathon competition. Our students, I'm just going to tell you a real quick story. The students that are in this picture are students who hadn't fully engaged at CASTEM in the way we would all dream after COVID. And so many of our students on this team found their engagement, they found their place, they found their home, they found their voice again when they started working on the car and getting ready for that competition. They came out of their shells. They were ready to interact with other students on the campus and really kind of blossom back into who they could be because of their participation as a team with the competition for Electrathon. So we're very proud of them. And we all like to take a little spin in the car every now and then. Miss Triplet rode recently. She's our mentorship coordinator and took a little spin around campus recently. We had our very first academic decathlon who placed second in small schools competition for academic decathlon. And they are young, they are 10th graders. So they're going to continue competing over the next couple of years with CASTEM. Some other things we're very proud of, we do an annual Girls in STEM event where we invite 4th through 12th grade girls from the district and beyond to come in, learn robotics and drone flying and how to engineer, creating paper airplanes, really just getting them connected in STEM. We'd like to see a lot more women in STEM because we need more women in STEM and lots of STEM industry. Our Women in Manufacturing happens with our industry partners, so CPS, Holtcat, Toyota, offer us support with externships and internships opportunities, especially engaging women in manufacturing, because again, we have very few women in manufacturing and lots of opportunity to grow the industry. Mr. Quintana serves as our local president chapter for the Technology Student Association, so he is the Alamo Technology Association president, which means that when they went to state, he was a lead there. And all of our team that went with him also had leadership opportunities. So our students got to see our teachers leading the way at the state level. SA Commit is a math partnership. So we work in alignment, in vertical alignment with university partners. So we're currently working with UTSA, our math team working with the UTSA math team to vertically align content, improve teaching and learning, and bring back new skills and opportunities for our students to master math in different ways. And the collaboration goes back and forth, high school to university and in the reverse as well. Our FAFSA team achieved their goal of having all of our students complete FAFSA by the end of November. We were very, very proud of that. And as you know, that's a long process, so we were really excited. And as I mentioned to y'all before in the last time that I presented, that our students went over and helped at Legacy and at Southwest as well, and were able to get about 40 students through the finish line for FAFSA too. Our student ambassadors are some of our favorite ambassadors for CASTEM. They do all the outreach recruitment for other students, but they also welcome you to our campus. So they welcome you to the living room that is CASTEM. And so Jocelyn, I'm going to hand this to Jocelyn. We're celebrating several things, but one thing that really is exciting right now is the next step for us in knowing who we are. So Jocelyn, take it away.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I got it.
Roger's got it.
Roger's got it.
You got the backup, don't worry. Okay, click the button.
Okay, I'm going to introduce it.
Do we need to click it?
Click it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Did that work?
So this is our newly finished and newly designed Cobra, our mascot. There you go. So what it stands for is it represents wisdom, strength, confidence, initiativeness. You know, as a sophomore, picking and choosing what our mascot would be. Majority of us chose the Cobra. This is probably, it's so cool to me. I know I'm ready for some merch, hopefully. So yeah, I'm so excited.
And we have that in progress for our senior class, so we'll have merch before they go. But as you can see, it embodies the colors of CASTEM. But also our students gave all the feedback in how to design it. And so the C and S were very important. They wanted CASTEM to be seen in every part of our mascot. And so they helped to make that come true. So we're excited about that. So we'll be ready to buy all your shirts with the branding on it pretty soon. Jean, you want to close us out?
Sure. So thank you all so much again for taking the time. I know it's a busy time of year. We really appreciate it, and we're happy to take any questions, but we really just wanted to give you all the thanks, and of course to Dr. V, who's stewarded this project from really even before it started.
I would really like to see a PBL that was done and brought to us and say presented to the board. It was done by Devani and
It's Devani, Mary, and Pandora.
There you go. Those three did a retrofit of their new school,
Oh, yes.
of what they would like to see. And she asked, since Ida asked about, like, what would they like to see in a new school to retrofit, to help them feel better, to help them feel like welcome. I think that's something that could be presented to us, so that way we can have a good grasp of how, of being welcoming that school can be. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's from night and day. It went from, we have, it's night and day, but at the same time, we still want to hear back from the students. And that was a good, I'd say, one of the awesome presentations. They had printouts, everything. They told me what the price would be. I was like, mind blowing.
And they worked with their ACE mentors, so they had industry mentors from architecture, construction, and engineering supporting them while they were redesigning as well.
Yes, and I know they're seniors, so I would like to hear them before they graduate.
We're never going to let them go, sir. They're going to be with us forever.
We never say
They may
goodbye.
be seniors, but they can come back.
Yeah,
and
that's
Jim
right.
Brown.
That's a great suggestion.
We do that. I just want to comment. I just want to first thank the CAST Network, Gene, the whole staff. They've been tremendous. The seed funding that your organization put forward to allow us to get our feet up underneath us, not anticipating a world pandemic and still being able to stay focused on what's important for outcome for our students. Seeing our students represented by Jocelyn here today, who is just a phenomenal young lady who's going to just be a phenomenal leader in San Antonio and probably the state and nation in both respects. I just think that's a great partnership. And these things, they don't come easy, but they come if everyone's aligned and we continue down the trajectory. That's a benefit for our youth. And so I just want to say thank you, and Ms. Schaefer stepping in, bringing your expertise from Region 20 and your ability to bring folks together has been nothing but just impeccable. And so I just want to thank all of you presenting and your whole staff. It's a great partnership. I think this is just the beginning. I can't imagine what this could be in 10 years from now and what it looks like. And I think that'd be a great celebration too at that kind of milestone. But thank you.
Thank you. And of course, Carol Mendenhall and Eddie Rodriguez, you have the entire CAST executive team right here.
She retired.
We're small but mighty.
She does great speeches.
Awesome speech, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you. We'll see you at Top 10 tonight.
Yes. Branding, marketing, is that Jesse?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take it away, Jesse.
Good afternoon, board members, senior staff. We just wanted to take a moment today to kind of go over some of the work that our department does. We do a variety of things, from public relations, communications, scholarship committee, running the foundation, to marketing. And so we want to share a little bit of that work with you. And so a lot of this stuff is kind of done, in the background, and we don't always share these things. But we want to make sure we take a moment and just kind of give you an update on that work. And also some of the progress monitoring pieces that we use to track the metrics of how we're reaching the folks in our community to make sure our message is getting out. So I'll turn it over to Roger and Jenny.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Thanks for having us. I'll sit up here. Are you gonna run it around? Yes. Okay, so we are currently running a marketing campaign to increase student recruitment and maximize retention. This will enhance the public awareness of the district's high-quality programs, services, and activities. This plan will also strengthen the district's brand and solidify the district as a very competitive and destination district. So over the last few years, or the last 2 years, most of our messaging has been COVID-related, talking about safety protocols, what resources we have. But now that we're coming out of the pandemic, we really need to strengthen our brand again. Many of our signage was saying, talked about vaccine clinics. Well, now we need to get back to our opportunities, our programs that we have. And so that is our main goal for running this campaign over the next few months. So going over our campaign goals, as I mentioned, we want to drive up enrollment at all campuses, but we have an enhanced focus on our pre-K program, our Hidden Cove STEAM Academy, and CAST STEM High School. We also want to create strong brand awareness, both internally and externally, to support marketing and recruitment initiatives. So what do I mean by internally and externally? Well, I can send out all these messages, but our staff needs to know how to sell our district, how to tell other people what we have, and so do our parents. So that's why we're really trying to saturate the market both internally and externally. We also really want to energize and connect the community to the information about the district's innovative programs, resources, and most importantly, the student experience, the all-around student experience that our students have here. You know, we have early college, we have dual credit, CTE, STEM, but what really makes us stand out? That's what we want to showcase, the people. We have generations here, teachers. Frances, her students are now teachers. She's been to weddings. Like, we are a family here, and we're here to take care of our students. Our target audience is our parents, students, and again, staff and families in the Southwest ISD community, and our new residents, especially our new residents. We have a lot of people moving from out of state. We also have a lot of developments where they're not sure where the boundary lines are, so we need to make sure that they know this is Southwest ISD country, second to none. So our campaign theme, as I mentioned, in one of our goals is to energize the community. So we thought really long and hard, we met several times, and we came up with Ignite Your Success. When you enroll your child at a Southwest ISD campus, you are putting them on the path to success. You are igniting their passion, you are igniting their creativity and the possibilities. It's an exciting time to be at Southwest ISD. Taking a look at our digital marketing campaign. Okay, so currently we are running a social media campaign. And I don't know if you've noticed, we've kind of slowly started doing this. We're running a lot of videos, both with student testimonies, our CTE programs. Over the next few weeks, we're going to start, you're going to see a lot of student spotlights on our fine arts. Going into the summer, we're going to highlight a lot of athletes. So that's what we're boosting our posts on social media. This was, I think you guys may have seen this video. We ran this for quite some time, but now we're boosting the posts. I think we just started running it over the weekend, and I'd already had, like, within one day, 60 clicks to that CASTEM application page. And as I mentioned, part of that social media campaign are those videos promoting the programs, the students, and even our staff, because as you all know, it's hard keeping teachers and staff, so we want to make sure we're encompassing everyone, our whole school community. We are also, as you know, just launched a new website. That is still a work in progress. Now, we've moved everything over the technical part, and we're working with different departments and different schools about updating their website and program pages. The reason why this is important, we need to use every opportunity to tell our story, to showcase our students. Even in my presentation, you've seen dynamic photos of students doing something, being very innovative. So, and all of that marketing is being directed to our website. Our website is a brochure. I know a lot of people think that it's just our parents that are looking at our website, but I was recently looking at our Google Analytics, and we have about 4,000 new people hit our website a month. So we need to make sure that we're catering to not only our parents, but to the new people that come to our website. We don't want it to be difficult for them to find anything. We need to see photos of kids doing things. We want to ignite their excitement. We're also looking at doing some advertising and online publications, both in Live from the South Side. If you've read some of that, you've seen some of our stories highlighting our students. Even student authored pieces are in there. You're going to see a lot more about our enrollment as we kick up our enrollment initiatives on there. And then we're doing this in phases. So right now we're really pushing the digital, and I'm going to go into the hard copies that we're doing in just a minute. But we're going to start kind of looking at what's working, what's not. For our digital, we have special links so that we can track how many clicks we're getting and what they're looking at. And if that's how we need to course correct on our messaging, then that's what we'll do. And then later on in the summer, we're going to look at Geo Targeting, which is basically, let's say you're at a movie theater or you're at a daycare and you happen to be looking at your phone, our ad will pop up. It could be a student story, it could be a link to one of our programs, but that's something that we're looking to if we need to kick up our recruitment initiatives. Now to the hard copy, feet on the ground. Billboards. So on May 9th, our top 10 billboards will go up throughout our district. We actually are going up a little bit closer to 90 for the top 10 billboards for CASTEM, which is kind of the audience that we want anyway, along with Southwood High School, and then the regular top 10 billboard that goes up for Legacy on 35 and Fisher Road. Those will be up for about a month, congratulating our students. Go Public is also getting ready to do another one, a fourth billboard, congratulating all Southwest ISD seniors. After that month of congratulations, then we are going to look at looking at the area strategically and putting some marketing messaging on there. Like most of our students at CASTEM graduate with 100%, going to college, or just other things that we can all as a group look at and say, this is what we really need to highlight Dr. Burstead has a list of things that we were planning to, he did that for himself, but I'm like, ooh, we're using that for marketing. And we actually do on this, a lot of this is not just our department. We meet weekly with our senior staff for a grassroots meeting to discuss some other things that, you know, we're not the know-all be-all. So if you have any ideas, feel free to let us know and we'll add them in there. But we're trying to hit every different medium and channel in different areas so that we're not leaving anyone out. We've also started working on some mass flyer mailouts. Last week, we sent out roughly 42,000 CAST-STEM mailers that went to about families in 10 different zip codes. This week, we're getting ready to send out mailers for Hidden Cove, about 28,000. And then in late May, we're going to send out district, and we're still going back and forth on whether it's going to be a mailer or a full-out page where we can really highlight that in auditorium. That's one of the big things that no one has in our area, so that would be a really big draw as well. And then we'll do some more as we keep going. What else can we send out? But we really want to saturate the market. Again, we are a premier district. Everyone needs to know, even our boundaries, anyone living on our boundaries, this is a premier district. We are working in collaboration with our community relations team with creating new business brochures, signs, and pamphlet placements that they can send to businesses, apartment complexes, the home builders. We're also working on some welcome postcards for those new residents. Also working with our businesses to put up our signs. Again, this is Southwest ISD country, and I'll say it over and over again. And then now, I think they're about to go up, our yard signs and banners. We've just got them in this week. We're delivering them to the campuses. So this first round is a lot of our graduate congratulations to our seniors, our top 10. But as those kind of, after about a month, we want to replace those with different signs that say, yard signs that say, you know, CTE, you get your associate's degree, but it also has our emblem on there. And then those hopefully will be at some of the houses. The parents will want to put those out, but we're also going to drive around to corners, wherever we see space, that, hey, let's put our signs up. We also want to draw attention to our high traffic areas. Like let's say McCullough, they're right off the highway, so we're putting up feather flags with our district logo, learn more. Any area that has a high traffic area, we're going to draw attention to them. And that's why, again, we're working on our website. When they come in, and that was another thing I forgot to mention, as we put those up, when they come to our website, it's going to be automatic. Have you enrolled? Have you registered? So there's no missing that. And as I mentioned, he's going to go into some of the student videos that we're doing, but I also wanted to show you one of the promos that we're running. And these are so we can capture not just from our parents. I've targeted zip codes as well for people that may not be coming to Southwest, but that'll show up. You know, when you scroll on Facebook and you see like, come here. Yeah. That's one of the ones that, this is one of the promos that you'll see. Oops. I'll come back to that.
Today at Southwest ISD's CAST-STEM High School, where innovation meets creativity. Discover your voice and spark your passion by exploring careers in engineering, advanced manufacturing, global logistics, and technology. Go beyond the classroom with project-based learning, tackle real-world needs, and mentor with industry leaders and trailblazers. Develop the best version of you with CAST-STEM High School's close-knit community and dynamic teachers. Don't wait. Apply now for the 2022-2023 school year and ignite your success at Southwest ISD's CAST-STEM High School.
And then, so as I mentioned earlier, this is a 4 to 5 month campaign. Over the summer, we've got our work for us laid out for us. We are working on a storytelling workshop. As I mentioned, we need our staff and our parents to be able to help us showcase those opportunities. So we'll help them with creating an elevator pitch, just 30 seconds on what's really important and how to, that word of mouth marketing, that is actually the most strongest form of marketing. And then there's two things that are really important with marketing. It's the storytelling and then the customer service, which Jesse's team works with. We can do all of this messaging, but if the customer service here isn't working, we can't seal the deal. So those are some workshops that we're working on. We're also doing some cross-training. We're in a world where do more with less, so we're trying to help our department become like Swiss Army knives, where we all have our specialty, but we can do each other's job, and that'll help us with getting student testimonials, just finding those stories, enterprising those great stories. We're also working on a social media boot camp. Do our people know why they're posting to social media? Is it just that we're here at an event? Or is it tying back to our mission? Is it tying back to our commitment to service, growth, and results? So we're going to be working on a social media boot camp with our campuses. And then again, we're just going to be strengthening our social media campaign. We're going to be looking at those analytics that Roger is talking about and checking to see if we need to course correct, change some of our messaging, and really find out what our parents are interested in. And so for that, I'm going to send things over to Roger.
All right. All right, thank you very much. All right, so yes, we have, we'll go through that. There we go. All right, so we're talking about analytics, which is a lot of data, but I'm trying not to make it boring. So, but when it comes to social media, we all know what social media is, but on our side of it, we look at the numbers. We have to look at to see what works, what doesn't work. From what we've seen, actually, what we've been doing lately has been working. So, and then the new part of this year is what we're doing is focusing on student stories, student life, that kind of thing, to where parents want to see their kids on there. They want to see what the campuses are doing. And like Jenny said, it's also new residents who are coming in, whether they have a choice, they could see, hey, Southwest is doing a lot of stuff, so this is where we want to promote that. So what we did was that in order to compare things, we look at what we did last year compared to this year in the same time frame. So compared to the same quarter last year, our Facebook reach has increased by 15.9%. Our Instagram reach increased by 81.9%. Our Facebook page visits increased by 68%, and this was just crazy, but Instagram profile visits increased 232%. So, looking at the numbers here, if you look at our ranking right now, we are ranked number 4 in the Bexar County area. But if you look at this and you take a step back, you'll notice that 1, 2, and 3 are Northside, Northeast, and SAIC, which already they have a built-in way bigger audience than you. So comparatively, if you look at some that are closer to our numbers, like Harlandale, Somerset, Edgewood, we're number 1 far and away. So how do we get these numbers up? What do we do differently that made these numbers go up? Facebook and Instagram stories and albums. This is something that we learned that if you introduce stories, which are those quick 24-hour videos that are real quick videos, kind of like a TikTok, that you will see, we've been using these to show our student life, to show our community service events, calls to action, things like that. So we've been having Sam and Brandon on there and going to these different events, just going on there doing a quick 10-second video. Hey, we're out here at this event. We're doing this. Check out our pep rally at Fire and Armor Bowl. Those kind of things that kind of just show that the snapshot of what's going on in everyday life. As these expire, of course, then we go back and we post them onto social media, which then allows them to live there longer. We also have Maharati coming out, and she's been going out to these different events. So not just going to football games like we did in the past. Now we're going to different things such as the top 10 dinners, the softball game, the baseball game, the tennis team, things that we don't normally get to cover. We now actually have that option to do so, and everybody gets a chance at the spotlight. So that's been a really good form of engagement. When it comes to social media, whenever you posted a video and or a photo, your likelihood of getting your target to engage with your post increases exponentially, as opposed to if you just put out text. So these things are designed to help us move. The algorithms change, things like that. All that means is who's looking at our page. So the Instagram stories, the albums, those are kind of things. Once they click on it once, it starts showing up on their feed, and then it keeps going, and it kind of goes into a circle. So it's a really cool thing that we're getting to do now. Now that we have good personalities and people out here, fresh new faces to come out. Also, our Twitter account, just so you are aware, we have 6,348 followers. We've had over 114,000 impressions within this quarter, which means is that they're at least seeing our post. And this could be either a retweet, a like. When it comes to Twitter, any kind of interaction with our post then gets posted onto that person's timeline, and other people see it. So it kind of just grows at an exponential rate. Our website launched, like Jenny said, this year. Our users, as Jenny said, also has increased by 5.49%. And that big number, the new users, 8.84%, those are the new people that are coming into Southwest ISD. Again, thanks to Jenny and what we've been able to do together,
we have been able to change the way we see our website. Instead of it just being, just an information hub, it's actually becoming a digital brochure. So we're working with our departments to be like, what is it that you offer to our parents? Instead of them just blind clicking on what it is that they do, we have them go on there and say, hey, we are the purchasing department. We're here to help you make sure you get your items on time and things like that. So those are the kind of things that we're working with our different departments and our campuses in order to get that up. And again, like Jenny said, it is a work in progress. We do have to work with them to make sure that we get that mindset changed as well. And we are streamlining our process. Thanks to the new website, it actually is a lot better than the old one we had because we were able to streamline it and be able to send out multiple updates at one time. So in the past, whenever it was like, hey, can you put this on all the websites? Well, that would take me and some, a little bit technical, so it takes me about 45 minutes used to go to every single website and post something. Now I can do it in about 5 minutes. I can just click on a button, it kicks it for us. And because of the website, we're also able to do pop-ups. So I don't know if you've been to the website lately. If you go to swisd.net, a pop-up will come up depending on what it is for an important thing. So it could be elections, it could be enrollment, it could be that we're having a bad weather day, things like that. So every parent will see it as soon as they go onto the website. And of course, if they choose not to see it anymore, there's a little button so that way it doesn't get annoying. But again, we're just going to have some additional revamps during the summer. All right, so next up is our newsletters. Our newsletters, again, this is something new that we're doing. The board update, all the cool things that the board is doing, we're approving all the people that come in, the presentations, all this goes into the board update. So we've been sending this out and we've been getting between 6,400 and 7,500 views an issue. So that our parents are now getting more informed, our community is being more informed of what we're doing in the meetings. Our Points of Pride averages about 2,500 views an issue. What this is a way to show a snapshot of basically what's going on in the month. So we pull from social media, we pull from other stories, things like that that we might not have been able to post onto social. We put them into our Points of Pride newsletter. And again, this is a digital medium that we're able to use. All right. So Southwest ISD is we're not only here, communications and our community partnerships, we're actually also being shown at TSPRA. So TSPRA is our Texas-wide conference that we go to. Our Dr. Sam over here, our new doctor over here, she was recently wrote an article for the winter edition of the TSPRA Communication Matters newsletter. So round of applause to her. And we just got notice that she will be featured, the article will also be featured in the TASA Insights Summer newsletter. So that's really cool. And then at TSPRA, I also did a breakout session on iPhone photography to a conference room full of people, so that was actually really cool. So we are getting our Southwest ISD brand out there as well in a statewide realm. So SWISD TV. SWISD TV, what we did this year is that we moved to a student life focus, including our Southwest ISD Sights and Sounds, which we use to cover events. And our new thing is our Southwest Spotlight Student Edition, which focuses on individual student stories. So we post this both on YouTube and on Facebook. Our Facebook views have gone to 32.7 thousand minutes were viewed on Facebook, and our YouTube views are up to 23,523. So what that does is that we're showing that we're having a 10% increase in subscribers from August to now, as this were from last year. So that's a pretty good jump, as a good 10%. So just to show you an idea of what it is, here's one of our spotlights.
I decided to take construction because my dad, he's like in the air conditioning field. It's something I just wanted to go with, just to see like if I wanted to continue what he was doing. Well, the program has helped me a lot, like with like communication skills and everything, because you got to work like in teams. Well, we worked on our OSHA certification and NCWER. Like, it's fun, entertaining. Like, you gotta do things hands-on and everything, build. Well, like recently, we worked on a mini library for Spicewood Elementary. it'll help the community that way. Like they don't have to like go inside school to go check out a book. It's pretty cool to see like bringing the community together. My name is Cesar de la Garza. I'm in the construction program at Southwest. We are Southwest.
So again, these are just one of the many ones that we're pushing out. Right, we're doing CTE. We're going to start doing some more fine arts, athletics, things like that. So we've talked to plenty. We have them all on YouTube. So if you want to go through our YouTube channel, you could see a playlist that has all of our different spotlights that we're doing. Some really, really neat stories that I didn't expect to hear from the students, and I'm sure y'all would enjoy that as well. So what's next? What's next for us? Again, more student-focused stories. This seems to be a great thing that's been happening to us. People seem to like it. We're also starting to get, now that we're getting them out there, we're starting to get teachers starting to reach out. Hey, check out this. One of my students is doing this, or one of my students is doing that. And we want to hear about them. So now that we kind of gave them an idea and a blueprint of what we're doing, that's starting to make it a lot easier. We're also going to have enhanced live segments for Facebook. So you'll start seeing those coming soon with the senior walks that are coming up. We're putting together a little plan right now. Hopefully it works, but it's going to be a lot of fun once we get it done. We're also going to be working on some new SWISD TV segments. We're going to be working with Brandon. He's going to be doing a new segment with us as well. And again, along with Jenny, we're going to be doing some new marketing commercials and promotions. Once again, we're very, very excited of everything that we've done so far and what we're going to be doing. This is a great time to be at Southwest. So I want to thank you for that. And any questions?
I got a couple. Do we have any checkouts on like the websites? Like when I mean checkouts, it's meaning like, say they're trying to get out of our website. It says, before you leave, what are you interested in? Can you leave your information? Or even the videos, like say they're watching a video like the construction, you want more information? Is there a checkout for that? Please follow the link to fill out form so we can get back to you. I think the one thing that idea is like, they come knocking on your door. And we don't really have to go knocking on the door if we're doing analytics to our media department. And so we are able to engage personally through social media, then that's one of the ways we can do it is by doing a checkout. I don't know if we have it, that's why I'm asking.
Right.
When you answer the website, I'll do the social media.
Okay. So for the website, that part of it, right now, no. We don't have a checkout piece, but we do have, with everything that we do, we always have a call to action. So whether it's being, if it's a CASTEM video, we're saying call to action as to apply to CASTEM or check out our website, things like that. So in a way, it is kind of a call out, but it's not like a pop-up form as you leave. There's lots of theories on that. So it could be considered either spam or it could be considered, a customer service thing. So there is those two fields of it. So we try to do a really good balance of that. And then as far as social media goes.
So all of our boosted posts have a call to action as well as a learn more or apply button, depending on which one that we choose for it. Some of them, it depends on what the video is, but that's where we need to be really compelling and great storytellers in those videos and in those posts. So that call to action, you kind of want to, I want to learn more. And that's where it goes back to, we need to make sure our website is welcoming. As soon as they click on that button, is it taking them somewhere where it gives them the answers they're looking for, where it shows that student testimonial experience. So that's how we work it through social media.
And then again, like in everything we do, in the yard signs, everything is call to action. So again, enroll at Southwest ISD. Our banners are going to come up, same thing, enroll at Southwest ISD, check out Southwest ISD. It is something that we just kind of go at it, but I see exactly what you're saying on that.
And another thing would be like for autism, like I know like we have these things, awareness months and stuff like that, and engaging the community in certain events. I think that's one of the things we're in our own bubble, but at the same time, there's people out there that didn't even know we had an autism academy, and they were like, oh, I would have sent my kid there, or I would have done this, I would have done that.
So that's why we're sending, and so you may see some of this, like when I boosted that video, I can tell you about this program and the next year, I didn't know. So if you see it, share it, tell your friends to share it. But we'll keep on pushing those out, and we're always looking at different avenues of ways to share what we have going on in the community. But there's nothing, we have no problem, and not just like, it's Autism Awareness Day. Our plan is, and again, we're learning to work together, we have new team members, but how can we not just say, hey, it's National Principals Day, let's hear from a principal. I never thought I'd be here. Like really being intentional with our messaging so that people are drawn in. So yes, we are working on that.
Back in with Mr. Bernal, that's kind of what I was gonna say about doing videos also with some of our groups. So like on that aspect, like buddies, where they have the Easter egg hunt and stuff like that. I know those are student-led groups, but doing some videos on them to show that we do have students doing other groups and stuff like that, or other events, and they interact with, that type of stuff.
And that's part of our training that we're gonna be doing. We will push what we know. So sometimes we aren't aware of some of the things, and there's so many things going on.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And so we have our influencers too that we're also gonna be kind of retraining to kind of get some of those things out as well. But yes, definitely, once we get them trained into like, okay, how do we share this, or how do we get this to you, so that way we know, yeah, let's do a story on that.
It's a culture change. Whenever I send out that newsletter, at the top of it, if you have a story, and I always get a story tip right when it goes out. And I'm like, so we just need to get everyone and maybe I'll clarify more, like if you want it to be in this month's newsletter, send it to us, the 28th of every month. But it's changing, and even having our staff saying, hey, that's a great story, send it this way. We're slowly getting there, it is starting to happen. I am getting more reach on the points of pride. But yes, we need to know, I would rather hear about an event 10 times than not at all.
Are y'all working with the campus influencers? Because I do notice, since I look at all the campuses, and there are some that work it a little better than others, and there's some that you hardly ever hear from.
That's why we're working with them over the summer, because I've noticed they're just sharing what we're doing.
So is that part of the boot camp that
Yes.
you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, and we know that we're coming out of the COVID and things like that, and a lot of them are teachers too, so we're trying to kind of help them as they can. Some of them are, they could be academic coaches or whatever, some of them are teachers, so we do understand that, so we're gonna, again, when we do the boot camp, we'll be able to.
So given the fact that we have so many more events than we have people in the department, have y'all considered possibly soliciting videos from students? I don't know.
We've heard about
that
student
might be-
takeovers of something, we just have to, now that, we've only been, normal the last couple of months, but we do want to meet, utilizing the journalism clubs at each campus, utilizing those, we've discussed working like a PR patrol group at each campus, where the kids are submitting. That's something plans that we are working on through the summertime.
But even in a more global way, where you just invite people to submit if they have something good or interesting that you might look at. And there's no guarantee that it's
Yes.
gonna get used or posted, but you guys can just, cull through, I don't know how much content you may get.
Yeah.
Some people are very, very good at this.
Yes.
And, it would be a feather in their cap for being picked, and it would lessen, I think, your workload a little bit, because you're not trying to create all the content.
Yes.
You're just
And these
looking
kids are so
for it.
great. My
Yes.
daughter, my 11-year-old daughter, is teaching me
Yes.
one of the programs that she found. Oh, okay.
They're amazing. They're creative and,
Thank you
We
so
have
much.
two other items. We'll bring them back to the next board meeting in Brown Band in June.
Okay.
And that way we can have some more information on this as well to kind of share.
All right.
Thank you so
You can
much.
email us.
District of Community Partnerships?
I think this is.
That's what he was talking about.
That's it.
I'm sorry?
I think we're going to budget, right?
No,
You're not gonna need a commencement? Are we tabling item C? I can't hear.
We have it, sir. We can go through it now if you want us to go through. I know you're on the time.
Yeah, it will not be long, sir.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yes, I'd also like to ask you to table item D, so that we can move right to budget. Item D is our commencement contract. I know we've been working with our principals on it individually. Monday morning, we have a collective meeting with all 3 high school principals and our commencement committee. And so I would like to bring that back to the regular May 17th meeting, so that we're all on the same page, making some adjustments for learning in the past. But I will send you where we are today electronically, then if we have that conversation May 17th. so that we can give Brandon some time and honor y'all's time to get to the budget.
So what are we skipping today?
Cindy,
C and D, yes. Item C and item D.
And partnerships or what?
Yes, we'll bring that back in June, or we can bring it back to the item information in May as well.
okay, budget update.
All right, sir.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, there's some pretty big news, so I wanted to share with y'all. We got our values, and so just on today's agenda, I'm going to cover current budget, because that's what I'm most worried about. And so you have a working document that we use. You actually get this every month in the board book. And I really wanted to cover this with you so that when you see it, you can kind of see where we are fiscally. The top line is our revenues. So when we come in August, anytime we do a board amendment, a budget update, those numbers get fixed. And so starting on top, revenue, budget, that's what we're budgeting for as far as general fund, special revenue fund, which is basically child nutrition, and then interest and sinking, that's our debt payment. And so where it says income, that's the actual money we've received, whether it was from taxpayers or state or any money that's owed to us. And then the last column is what's still left for us to get throughout to August, because obviously we get paid pretty much monthly. The bottom numbers show you what we're tracking as far as expenditures, same way. You know, how much have we spent so far, so you can kind of compare. We spent $92 million in the general fund, and we received $99 million in revenue. So right now we're in the positive, but when you start getting closer to summer, that sometimes gets really close, and that's what we're really monitoring to make sure that we're not going in the red and have to use fund balance to cover that. So I wanted to share that with you because we monitor this. This is probably the biggest document that I look at every month to make sure that we were operating in the black and not in the red. Some big news, couple things on the next page. I'll go through here. The state has updated our summary of finance, this document here. And what they did is they took the taper. Remember I told you that they saved us kind of in the first 4 or 6 weeks because our ADA was really not that great. That's a nice word to say it. Because we were about 88%, and they used our 2021 rate, which was about 93.8%. So they updated the template on what our payments should be. And understand that the state doesn't adjust our payments. So that's the biggest thing I need you to understand is when we have a budget set by the state, they pay us out based on that budget in the summary finance. They start getting our data when we submit these PEMS report, and they start to see what our data really looks like. So they're paying us basically on a higher ADA than what we actually had. So that's the number you see, that 6.7 on that document. That's how much they're going to overpay us this year. And that's not including the 5th and 6th weeks data. I'm almost positive the 5th 6 weeks is still low, and the 6th is usually trend data shows that the last 6 weeks of school is not very good for us in attendance. And that's probably across most districts. Usually the last 6 weeks is seniors are kind of missing now, and people are coming, STAR test is over. So I would say this number might be a little higher, that we're going to get overpaid this year. What does that mean for us? Going into next year's budget, they've already paid us this, so they're going to take it away from us. So next year, in the summary finance, they're going to say, well, we paid you last year $7 million and you're supposed to get. So you got to figure out how to make up the difference. And so that's what we'll be facing next year. So we kind of have this little problem, and hopefully this will go away. This will be a one-time deal because we're going to really need to work on our attendance. And this is really strictly, we had lower enrollment, but strictly attendance is what's hurt us. The next document, last month I got really excited because we got some maintenance of equity money from the state. And if you look at the next page, at the very bottom, on the DPE side, and that's the side that they're saying that they predicted for us, they were going to give us an additional $1.9 million. And that's when I brought that last month. I was like, good, that's going to be great for us. Well, based on our new data and then in our ADA and what that looks like, they changed it. Instead of giving us $157 per student, they're only giving us $5. So you can see the big difference there. So that extra money that we were going to receive, we are no longer going to receive. So,
Boy, they really know how to do this.
Well, they got excited. They put it in there without our data, right? So when you start putting our data into it, you work the template and work the formulas. Once again, ADA has really hurt us a little bit.
And what does this have to do with?
This is only certain districts got this. It's really like if you go back to the year where people had to use ESSER 1, remember the state held back funds and they use those funds to make make everybody's foundation payments. Well, they didn't have to do that for us. We were able to hold steady with our own ADA and all our. And so a lot of districts, they didn't have to do that. They felt like based on the needs of the campus, because we have certain needs, and based on the fact they didn't have to use ESSER 1, they came up with some of their extra funds and they're giving to these districts. So the districts around us, not every district got it. Like Somerset got it, I know Judson didn't get it, East Central didn't get any.
So if like you did really good, you don't get it.
Well, I mean, based on your we have a high needs, we're a high needs district,
Yeah.
Title I schools, and so they were able, there's a lot of criteria on why they chose districts to get it.
Okay.
It's only 153.
Yeah, there's only 153. So, but either way, at 61,000, I'll take it, but it was nothing like the 1.9 I thought we were gonna get.
Yeah.
So that,
God, that's excited for a minute.
I know,
there.
believe me, I was excited, and I wish I wouldn't even have brought it up once they told me what it was after the fact. The big thing that's got big news, which you probably, if you're watching anything going on in the state of Texas, property values, if you look at your own tax bills or know people, which is we're gonna have to really communicate in the future if we ever want to do a bond and get it passed, because they didn't understand that this has nothing to do with the district. We're actually having to lower our tax rate and we're not lowering it fast enough in response to the property values because we're getting compressed. But the big number, I was sharing when I sat in the seat, 2016, our values was $2.9 billion. Today, our market value, based on preliminary values, is $7.5 billion.
Wow.
This year right now, currently in 2021 tax year, our values was $5.8 billion. So you can see just in 1 year that based on preliminary values, our values are going to go up $1.3 billion, which is a 22% increase in property values across our district. What does that mean for us? There's a lot of things that go into that. That means we're starting to move that pendulum where we're, I don't want to say property rich, but we're property richer than we used to be. And what that does is the state of Texas, I don't remember if you remember before when they changed the law where if you had real increases in property values, you got the tax money and then you still got the state aid. But now they use this year's values, so they're going to reduce our state aid because we're going to get more taxes. So on that slide right here, and I'm sorry it's far, but if you look at it on the back side, on that, the number that the little blue arrow is going to, so you can see based on preliminary values, and so we still got to go through the summer. They have people that will protest, and we'll get our certified values on July 25th. But you can see that we're going to collect, based on these numbers, we will collect $80 million, where right now this year we're collecting 64. Right, so it's going to be like a $16 million increase. Now I say that, but we'll also have to look at what our values end up in July, because people will protest. Some of these will go down. Some of these it may stay the same. But then we're going to have to look at our tax rate too. This is based on if we use this year's tax rate going into next year. And there's a lot of implications on this, on your tax rate. We're going to get compressed on the M&O side no matter what, because the state's been putting this mechanism in to help deal with this value increase. And the other piece on the INS side, we're only allowed to make enough revenue on the INS side to make our debt payment. So if our debt payment is $20 million, I'll have to set the rate based on the value to make $20 million. I can't make $27 million and put $7 million in fund balance. That's not how INS works.
Yeah.
There is a mechanism, like if we need to look at it, to defease bonds. So like if we go into next year and say, hey, our values are exploded, we can sell some bonds off and do a defeasance. We just have to strategize around it, because in the future, when you want to go out for bond, if your INS rate drops so much, you don't make that capacity to go out for a bond, and then you have to raise tax to pay for it. And so those are strategies we've used in the past. We'll have to really look at it and really work through that. And so that's the big news. That being said, right now, one thing on the ballot is this constitutional amendment. So what does that look like for Southwest ISD if it does pass? The first column there, it says current 25,000 exemption. Based on our reports, if we kept what we use now, what the exemption that's allowed in the homestead now, which is only 25,000, that will drop our value by 258 million. So that's basically the taxpayer gets relief. If the amendment passes and goes to 40,000, our value will drop to 409. So you can see it almost doubles. So we lose that value off the tax roll if it does. And so what this does is helps the homeowners, but I mean, as far as us, it's going to take money away from us. But the state on the other side makes up the difference.
Right. So is it a net zero at the end of the day?
Anyway, anytime you have, when I plug in what our M&O is going to be, whatever we get based on our values and our tax rate set, the state will make an adjustment on the foundation side. Like yes, so it could break even.
But for the exemption?
For the exemption, well, for the
Yeah.
exemption, yes.
Yes, well,
It'll-
still, to us, it doesn't matter, only to our citizens.
To our
it matters.
citizens, but it will matter on the INS side. INS side is a little different, because we don't receive any state aid on the INS side anymore.
Okay.
So it does impact you on INS, no matter what, because the higher your values are, the lower you can put your tax rate and make what you need.
Yeah.
But then, based on your values go down, you gotta raise your tax rate. So it will impact us on the INS side.
This is on our state ballot?
Yes, yes. And I got this from the BCAD, because they're almost 100% it's gonna pass. I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there vocally voting
Gonna
against
say no.
dealing with, because you can see our values, this is our district, you can't imagine, it's the whole state's seeing these 20% jumps on values.
And would this be on next year's
This would-
property taxes? Not
yeah.
what we owe this year?
Not what you owe this
Well,
year.
we're good.
Yeah, this will be in next year's, if it passes, it'll go into effect for the 22 tax year.
And what is that, we got a letter about the property tax that it's not gonna, when you get your final tax bill, it's not gonna be itemized? Like, they're not gonna be able to see each line of where it's going, there's some kind of new thing, we
I
got it in
haven't
the
seen
mail
that. Nobody's
from the
shared that.
tax assessor.
Well, if you say it to me, I'll take a look at it.
They're gonna like redesign the tax bill, so it doesn't show
Like
what
what,
you're giving to the school and what you're giving to the.
Really?
Yeah, like it's on the proposed bill
Yeah.
that you get,
but it
but
doesn't show at
it's
the
not
end.
gonna be on the final bill.
You mean like hospital flood?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have to do it because the law changed? I haven't even heard that.
We got a letter from the
Yeah.
tax assessor.
Well, to kind of show you where the value growth is happening, so on this chart here, and I know it's hard to see up there, but really if you go to the column that says new value, and so this will show you, okay, that's new value. So these are, that first line right there says single family residence. So we have $129 million in new housing somewhere that's popped up, new construction. The next line says multi-purpose residence, that's 15 million. So, you know, the new apartment complexes that came on board, they come on our tax roll. And then the really big one down there is the 179 under commercial, is it commercial real property? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm assuming that's Amazon's, because those are those two manufacturing big commercial properties that, I mean, and so overall, out of that 1.3 billion increase, 480 million of that's in new property. So that tells you the rest of it, which is pretty much $8 million, is in property values, that like your property values, the taxpayers of residents, the Toyotas, everybody else, values have skyrocketed. So even though we do have new value, 480 million, which is good, that's really good in a normal year, the rest of it is coming and everybody else is, I mean, their tax bills. And so I just wanted to share that with you because.
And that's just still is going to increase every year because of growth, right?
Well, it's increasing because it's the market and appraised values of homes and the appraisal is, I mean, you can almost not even do anything in your home and the value's gonna go up right now just because the market's that way.
I just read yesterday that it was holding steady and it was dropping, so.
Yeah, well, it's skyrocketing so much. Ours is, like in our district,
Well, it already rose.
yeah. So I would say ours is 22% overall as a median, so it can seem, hopefully.
Do we have, do you think we're going to have to raise the tax rate that?
No, we won't have to raise, we'll have to decrease it. We'll have to decrease it for sure on M&O because they're gonna make us, the state has mechanisms in House Bill 3 to do that. And then the INS side, we have to really look at it, I'll have to run numbers. And then more than likely, we're gonna have to drop the INS rate just based on that. I don't see how we can't keep it at that because, I mean, I'll probably pull in an extra $10 million if I left the rate where it is right now based on that, on the values.
For the average taxpayer though, so we decrease the tax side, but value went up, so it kind of.
No, so in the eyes of a taxpayer, that's why when I do put a tax rate out, let's say I drop it 3 pennies and you prove it and I put it on the website, I have to put I increased their taxes because when I take their 3 pennies and still times their value, it's still more taxes than they paid last year. I mean, that's why people, when they're doing bonds right now, if you go for a bond, it says this will raise your tax even though they're not going to charge you any more pennies. But because your values are going up, you're having to put it on the ballot that you're raising taxes. We did that too, and we had to explain it. Like, we're not raising your taxes, this is a 0 increase on the tax rate, but I can't help it if your value goes up. And so right now we're in a market where the values are exploded on everybody, and so people don't understand the difference. Most people that aren't in like tax business or school districts, they just know that I paid $5,000 last year, now it's $7,000.
Yeah.
And we're one of the bigger tax entities on there because school districts, in most cases, are.
We're like the biggest.
Yeah, and so, I mean, to them, it doesn't matter who's raising taxes, all of you are together. I think that's.
A bond is gonna be very challenging.
Yeah. So real briefly, I'm gonna wrap up because this is just the quick things. I'm still working through assumptions. One of the biggest pieces is we kind of solidified staffing. We worked through staffing models with the campuses. I had to make some adjustments because I'll just be honest. We have funds to help supplant especially in our elementaries. Using the old formula, we usually staff 1 to 22 because that's kind of our cap. We use that formula, and I had 4 or 5 elementaries. I was going to cut 5 or 6 teachers, just because the enrollments. We have 4 campuses under 500, like 450s, and so I changed the formula to 1 to 19 just so the board's aware, so that they still lost a few, but not as much. And then next year we're going to have to really look at it because you could, like I said, we're starting off with if they overpay us, we're in a deficit. We're going to probably be in the deficit anyways with things that are going on, and so I'm working through all the numbers. The idea is that we need to get our ADA back to where it needs to be. So I'm looking at probably staffing. I staffed on 13.4 overall, which in the past we were 13.8, so we're still like 400. But I need that 93% back instead of the 88% on ADA, which we'll work on. And so I could project doing ADA around 12.6, and that will put us back to kind of where we need to be. Values have increased, which is really helpful. The only thing that's really beneficial to when your values go up, you rely less on attendance, on funding, because you get paid on taxpayers. So districts that are property rich, they don't get a lot of state aid, so they care about attendance because accountability and instruction, but it doesn't hurt them in their pocket as much as it does for districts like us that really rely on state foundation money.
So are we going to try to do any kind of incentive plans for our kids to come to school? I'm just saying because this is just like, whoa.
Yeah, we have really good data on we have 9 PALs or T-PALs that go out and we're making connections. It's just, it's kind of putting the genie back in the bottle. It's a little rougher because coming to school and being in face-to-face environments have not been kind of the core for the last couple of years about safety and about giving families choice. We're going to have to do a much better job of really providing incentives work up to a point, but they don't continue to work. So it's about really making connections, engaging the students, finding out when they're not coming, providing opportunities for optional flex school day programs if they don't want to come full time. So we have other mechanisms. What we're doing is taking groups of students who have missed an excessive amount of days and really studying those and having a conversation with the families and seeing what's keeping us from coming in. And so we're going through that process now, and I think we'll have a lot more before we start the new year to present to the board about here's going to be our strategies to increase student attendance. We're back to full normal school, and everyone has to come, and so we'll have a much better idea. I know that I've looked at certain groups who have missed 50 days in the last 20 consecutive, and 50 in the last 10 consecutive, and we're taking that as kind of a study sample and really looking into why these students aren't coming and why we keep marking them absent on our books, and we'll have more information to come.
How about if we, how in all of our neighborhoods, you have those tent canopies set up, and it's the idea schools, right, or science harmony school, whatever. Well, we need to probably start doing that in our own communities, setting up something right next to theirs that says, ignite your success. But it needs to be somebody that's, if we have to pay people extra to go and do that on the weekends, we have to start doing what they're doing. It's the only way. If a parent passes by that tent and their only option is that charter school, well, we need to show them what we're doing. Maybe highlight the STEAM Academy at Hidden Cove or in Crewald. You got those schools popping up everywhere. Highlight the fine arts, but with a canopy, with big signs, with something, because we can't just expect them to, all they hear is negative about public schools. So put a canopy out there. It must be working for the idea schools because they keep doing it.
But they do it like year round, every
I know, but
single
I'm
day.
saying we need to develop the same strategy. If we want to compete with them,
Yeah.
we need our parents to be driving by and see a tent that says, Fine Arts Academy at Crewald, and then they'd be like, oh, well, maybe I'm gonna stop. You know what I mean? We got to start going after them the way they're going after us. You're like right next to them. I mean, it's public property. Just set your tent up right next to them.
Yeah, but we've had that conversation, and you're right, absolutely right, and really on point. So part of our grassroots initiative has to do with just that, is a grassroots presence wherever our folks drive into the neighborhood. What are they seeing as they approach their entryway into the neighborhood? What are they seeing when they come in the neighborhood? See when they come out of the neighborhood? What type of door hangers? So we've been looking for an entity, and there's groups out there where you can hire them. They go out, they're actually door hangers, and they make that initial connection and gives them a website to go to. So we're having those conversations. I'm going to tell you, this is everywhere, every district, in our superintendent meetings, everyone's attendance is about where ours is. There's a few that are different environments that are higher, but we're encroaching now into the 90s in our high schools finally for the first time, which is a positive sign, but absolutely. We talked about going and putting some right in front of the Edgewood Central Office because of what we're doing. And
Yeah.
I mean, gloves are off.
When you see people, it catches your eye, it just does. You know, you know, we hire all these high school kids in the summer. We'll hire them to go and sit in the canopy that says, come to Southwest. I mean, if we're worried so much about losing our ADA, then we need to funnel some money into, you know, marketing. Y'all gotta run and get us more kids.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean,
And let me tell you, I just want to, you know, there's these philanthropy dollars that go into IDA.
Yeah.
When we have a budget and we'll celebrate $50,000 we get to spend, they're working from a $10 million budget in marketing. And it's hard to keep that, but you're right, there's some things we can do to at least have a presence everywhere, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, again, great for enrollment, but for ADA, are we still calling parents of every student that's absent every day?
Yeah.
When a child is absent today, is that parent getting called? Or are we waiting till it's 2 absences or 3 absences?
Yeah, that's the expectation. Now, is it happening in reality? I would tell you probably not.
Because I tell you, when my little ones were little, they're still my little ones, and they rarely miss, but when they missed that one day, I was getting a phone call, you know, and I was like, wow, just missed one day the whole year, and I'm getting a phone call. And that made a difference, you know, and I think we need to get back to boots on the ground on that. I know it's tough, but I think parents need to know that we're aware, and we want to make sure everything's okay, you know, and what can we do to help, if there's anything we can do to
I
help.
want to tell you this, and I'm sorry. I can tell you the group that I've been studying with Francis and Adrian, when you go into what's, I call it the ECL, I'm sure it's changed. When you go in the front line and we can pull these reports and look at data, then we have a whole department that focuses on that. When you pull their documentation, there is extensive connection to the families, to the students. So I know that we're making contact, and I know that folks are out. Just right now, they're out in the neighborhood, knocking on doors, leaving information. I think we carry the students on the books because we don't want them to just disappear. That's a benefit, but it's also a deficit. But I think we try to hold on to our kids over time.
I will say that go ahead.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. I know that, like, Tatiana missed a lot of school this last semester. She, got COVID, and she carried a fever 6-7 days. She stayed home almost 10 before she could physically go back to school. And then she also got the flu, and the type A, but she carried a fever for another week. I think our kids sometimes are sick, and they're sicker than they've been in the past, right? And I'm sure it has affected us, and hopefully next year that won't be the case.
Correct, and that's what I was gonna say, the big piece of this, I mean, we had 200-something kids marked absent every day till March.
And I wanna say that the school followed up very quickly, and we're like irritated because it's like, she's sick. Yeah, she's sick. They called us multiple times.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, she's sick. She still has a fever. She cannot come back yet. The school was very insistent about her coming back as soon as she could possibly get back. So, I don't know, Crewell was doing what it had to do, you know what I'm saying? To get the kids, to get her back in school.
And I think another thing that happens is now parents are willing to drive their kids anywhere to a good school or anywhere to get that good education, and we just need to be, like the way they're doing it, just be more elaborate on what we can do, as our schools are good enough to teach our kids and our students.
Yeah, the big conversation is open borders. So I know there is a lot of consternation happening right now within kind of the ranks where I sit about those districts who are overtly coming out and advertising, and you know, Jenny just sent me a picture of an Edgewood sign on 14 and Pearsall Road, right? And so the idea was we all want to kind of raise the water together, everyone lifts up together, but the reality is there are some districts in San Antonio, if they were to do that same thing, there'd be a lot of students going that direction, participating in it. So we try to say we have transfer policies. If a student comes in and you want to transfer, we're going to accept you, but we're not going to go out and overtly advertise to try to take you from your neighborhood into a different and I know there's two camps of that too, I get that. But you know, I think we've been a really gentle person district where we've received some transfer students, but we haven't overtly advertised for them. And that may be something we want to talk about in the near future, about what is our philosophy and what are we going to embrace moving forward as far as overtly advertising. We have some of the greatest programs, CTE programs, with half the students getting their AAS or their industry-based certificate. And high school now, they're breaking through and getting some AASs this year. I think there's 6 students going to earn their associate's degree at the same time. So there's some really great points of pride that would sell Southwest. We just try to keep it within our boundaries and using the policies we have in place, but that may have to change in the next couple of years, and some decisions we have to make.
I think it's good that we focus on our, you know, our energy, our resources, our money, our time on our community. I mean, to me, it seems it would be like kind of a little bit weird for us to put any of those things into other districts. Why would we want to do that, right? And good work, if people think we're good, then they'll send their kids here, right? Word of mouth. I wouldn't want to spend energy
I
on
want to
other
do that because
districts.
it makes me mad.
Well, to wrap it up, so that because I know that it's already passed, it's just we're still continuing to work on staffing. We've done this most of the campuses. I've got 2 campuses left. We have the aquatic center, which y'all are approved. We're working through special ed. There's some special ed nuns up there. We're looking at other positions in the district we may need to take a look at. We also have to take on CASTM. We got 2 positions there that were funded by HEB and the stipends. So right now, if I had to put a budget, that's what we would be adding to the budget next year, just on the staff side. And then we'll bring information on compensation. I also put on there, as we went through the staffing model and the changes I made, what it looks like per campus, so you can see kind of who lost. And I know that we've talked to our grassroots to focus on pre-K and kindergarten. I know we have all these other programs, but really those cohorts in pre-K and kindergarten are moving through our system, and they've been smaller, and if we can get those back up and we get a chance to even get them, I think they will stay. And so that's where pre-K and kindergarten, I know that's a big deal for us too, because we do pre-K for all, but our pre-K numbers have been in the 500s, and before COVID they were in the 800s, 900s, and so that'll be key to get those back up. That'll impact our kindergarten.
For the compensation, are we still looking at a certain percentage, or?
I want to bring you different numbers. I really need to get you probably at the next brown bag, get you really what revenue looks like. Because we're in a deficit budget right now, even though, like, I'm talking about going into next year, like what it really looks like on paper, and then give you different percentages on what it's going to cost.
But deficit, we're in a deficit budget right now.
Right now.
Are we anticipating a deficit budget next
Oh,
year?
yes. Yes.
As big as this one?
Even bigger, because they're gonna pay me that 6.7 I showed you
Right.
for this year's budget, and it's gonna cover, hopefully get us through this year's budget. But they're gonna take that off the top next year. So I have to add that on to next year.
Right. You have to-
And hopefully it'll be a 1 year.
We have to tighten our belt 7.
Well, then that's where our ESSER funds come in to kind of.
Right, to cover.
So remember, the plan for ESSER is to save and then use it to keep teachers longer,
Yeah.
and really we're in the different mode of, let's use ESSER to get us through this hard time.
2 years, right?
This
Year and next year.
Correct.
We can buy time to increase enrollment, increase ADA.
Correct.
Increase
with this.
ADA.
Yes, ADA's, so hopefully, I say this with, if ADA comes back stronger, because I mean, that's what we're getting paid on, and so we'll have a good plan to hopefully get that back to where we were, or even better. All right, any more questions for me?
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
actually. I will bring the other, oh, I'm sorry, I'll bring the other two items in the June brown bag, or the May 17th items for information. In front of you is an updated activities calendar. Again, we try to avoid conflicts, sometimes it can be done. But tonight, the big event is top 10 at the high school.
Is it in their cafeteria?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So what do we need to leave here for Jesse, for the next, when you present for us?
Partnerships.
Just this? You want us to leave this?
Yes, just leave it at just five and I'll pick them up.
Okay, okay, and board, and just to let you know that, Brandon and I, Dr. Russell, is still working on contract. We should have something ready for review next, brown bag, so that hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions and take action on it, regular board meeting.
What is this purple folder? What is that?
We're okay there?
We're good.
Okay.
The purple folder is
Well, actually, we
the
can do
SDA.
it, we can do in closed session this meeting, review the contract, okay? And whether or not we take action on it that night.
What contract?
The contract for.
The final contract for Dr.
I'll find where you're-
Oh,
Okay. All right,
Just be the public
Francis,
final contract.
The purple folder, Francis?
The purple folder, you've seen this survey before, but we always provide you the opportunity to review a survey before it goes out. It's part of Panorama. The students have taken this for 2 years in a row. It's the end of the year for this year, so we can compare the social emotional status from how it was at the beginning and middle of the year till now, just to see if it tracks any improvements or any students that we need to target to ensure that they have some wraparound services before they leave for us in the summer.
when is this going on?
It goes out in May, but
Oh,
it
okay.
would be
Because it's
before,
time to look at it.
for sure.
Okay, thank you.
anyone have anything else? Anyone have anything else? No? Okay. Closes 1:11.